I'm introducing this.
Yes, you are. Go.
Alright, so hello, I'm Sean.
Ricki.
And we're here for SwinGamers on radio, and we're talking about video games. But firstly, I want to kick our little discussion off with something. Travelators. Do you know what travelator is?
They're the moving walkways in airports and stuff.
Take that, Josh.
Did I just win you an argument?
Yes.
Yay.
So, I believe that there is a difference between an escalator and a travelator. Escalator is obviously the stairs that move up or down, and the travelator is flat, which moves. It can move on a diagonal line, or it can move straight. So, we've got one in our High Point shopping centre. We've got an escalator, and we've got a travelator. Now, Josh says that nobody calls it a travelator.
It's a travelator.
It's a travelator. You didn't even know what I was going to talk about. It's a travelator, Josh. Boom. Yeah.
So there's like the diagonal things that you hook your trolley into going down in the car park.
You don't even have to.
Yeah.
You can,
But
like if you want. But yeah, you just...
Josh, whoever you are, that's a travelator. I'm sorry, but that's what it is.
Damn straight. Alright, so let's actually get on to something.
Let's get into it.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking a bit about, we had Comic Con here in Melbourne this past weekend, which we both attended in different capacities, but we have stuff to talk about, each of us, I'm sure. RTX, the Rooster Teeth Expo, was also this weekend in America. They had a few cool things there. Talking a bit about what GameStop is doing, working with developers.
Let's get there.
We'll talk about that at the end, because Sean tends to get fired up when we talk about pre-orders.
Yeah, go on.
And look, we'll kick off with Comic Con, I guess.
Yeah.
It was good.
Busy.
He was busy because he was working.
Yeah, so like working at the Game Traders booth, we were apparently like I was talking to a couple of guys from Nintendo, and they said that our line was larger than theirs. Like even for Smash Bros, our line was out the door around the corner to Nintendo's booth, whereas Nintendo had a few people. Like they definitely had people there, but it wasn't to the extent that we had on the Saturday, which was absolutely horrendous.
It was. There was a lot of people there.
Yeah, and then we had people putting the bloody wheelchairs in and the prams in.
Oh god!
Like, what the hell? Why are you even bothering? Just leave it outside. Usually you got a friend or something. Like, otherwise, if it's for special consideration, it's a different story. Let us know. But usually, most of the time, they just wheeled in. They didn't give a shit, and
And
I can't even find words.
If you know what a convention booth looks like, there's no room.
No.
There's just enough room to line up at the cash register, get your shit, and get out.
Yeah,
bring prams and stuff in there. No,
exactly. And ours was one of the larger booths where you could actually walk through, whereas a lot of them, they were just pretty much like tables all around the outside. You'd be on the outside, and they'd be on the inside, doing the deals and all that. But yeah, we had effectively a store where you could just walk through, and it was horrendous. We had so many people. It was a busy day. Busy weekend. 5 hours it took after closing on Sunday to pack up. I didn't get home. I didn't leave till 11 o'clock.
Shit.
Yeah, fun times. Not really, but hey.
Comic Con.
Dem monies.
That's
Cash dollars.
I was there in a different capacity. I actually got to have fun and walk around and experience everything, which was cool. There was a lot of cool stuff there, especially gaming-wise. There was, Nintendo had a massive booth there. They had Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros. I think they had Toad's Epic Journey, whatever it's called. That was all running during the day. That actually looks... It still doesn't look like a full game, but I got to see a few other different levels that were
It's like it feels
available.
Like it feels like what Splatoon would be in a sense that unless it was like a full-on story-based, like level after level, there's a million levels. It feels more like Splatoon, where it's like a $30 digital download game.
Yeah. The levels that I did look at for that game were a lot more fleshed out than just the mini games in Super Mario 3D World. Obviously, to make it feel like more of an actual game rather than just a mini game that exists within another game. But from what I saw, it still looked pretty cool. They had sort of fleshed out the levels. They were a bit bigger, a bit more sort of three-dimensional. But it still doesn't look like a full, $100 game. It looks like a $30 digital download, which it depends how they go when they release it, whether they're going to bite the bullet. And because I don't know, I don't see myself spending $70 odd on a game like that.
Yeah, neither do I. But Smash Bros. I hate saying this, but I'm kind of disappointed.
Yes,
it felt like Brawl 2.0, and I'm not really a fan of Brawl. I'm more a melee person. I'm more competitive, and I like the fast-paced action. And they kind of had that, but it just felt like another skin on Brawl. not how we were hoping. We were hoping that it would be a competitive Smash Bros.
Yep.
And it ends up being another one of those. I don't want to say use the word casual because it's not the right word.
No.
But it's more inclusive for everyone, more accessible, and I'm not sure if that's the direction that people wanted it. Like, it's a good direction for Nintendo overall. But as for what the hardcore fans for the franchise wanted, I don't think
the hardcore fans will be wanting a lot more. But I think if they're targeting a broader demographic, they're going to make their money back. Nintendo will be happy. So I think if it's accessible for more people too, then I foresee some people going back. If this is like their first Smash Bros, they'll go back to the catalog and buy the older games and have a crack at them as well.
Well, I think we mentioned in the last video.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned in the last video that the Wii U outsold both the Xbox One and the PS4 over the last month.
Yeah.
Purely due to Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And it's now considered, a must-have console.
Yes.
So it's been around for what, a year and a half?
About 18 months, yeah.
About 18 months.
Yeah.
Well, 20 months technically. And yet now everyone's talking about how the Nintendo Wii U is a must-have console.
Go get one.
I feel it is. I know a few people, such as yourself, who are being converted by the fact that it's got good games on it. It's got enough games to draw you to buy it. Whether or not it's your first preference console, chances are it won't be. But the fact that you can't get Mario Kart anywhere else, the fact that you can't get Donkey Kong, Zelda, the Smash Bros is coming out, but Pikmin, Zombie U even, 1-401, all these sorts of games, they're only coming out on the Wii U.
You talk about exclusives with Microsoft and Sony, that being the selling point between the two consoles because they're so similar, but you want to talk exclusives, Nintendo has the exclusives. It has the market. It has so many games that are just on the Wii U.
They've got all the first-party games.
Exactly.
And they've got a couple of third-party games thrown in there too. So it's got the perfect mix.
Yeah, so you can still get your AAA titles like your Watch Dogs and your Call of Duties and that. They're not going to look as good as they would on the Xbox One or the PS4, but that's not why you buy a Wii U. You buy it for the first-party games.
Yeah. I'm starting to feel like a Nintendo fanboy. Nearly every video we're doing, I'm talking about how good the Wii U is. It's good. I'm not a fanboy. I just like the games on it.
It's going to have an amazing 12 months. It's the next 12 months for the Wii U are just going to be fantastic, and I think it's going to outsell.
That's not even including the last couple of months.
Exactly. So look, we really are starting to sound like fanboys, but it is my next big purchase. So I've got my Xbox One now, and I've played that, and it's cool and all that sort of shit. But I really just I haven't had as much fun playing a game console, as much as I had playing on his Wii U. So I really want one. And I will be getting one as soon as I can afford it.
And just to make sure, just to prove that I'm not a Nintendo fanboy, I picked up PS Vita purely to have a go on it. I got 3 games on it, plus a couple of digital downloads which I had on the PSP. So I got Touch My Katamari, Uncharted Golden Abyss, and what's the other one? Killzone Mercenaries.
Yes.
It's good. PS Vita is good. I like how you've got your menu, whatever, where it opens up, there we go, and you can just pull that off, and there you're at the menu. Like, just that is cool. Like, it reminds me of a touch screen on a phone sort of thing, but you're pulling off the paper, and then you can go through and touch the bubbles, and you can check your trophies really easily.
Yep.
It's got a very fast GUI interface, which is really nice, because if you compare that to the next gen, well, I'm calling them current gen consoles. All right, they're out in stores. They're current gen consoles. Yep. Comparing it to the Xbox One and the PS4, which are very slow from what I've seen.
Yes,
they're very slow. The PS Vita has really quick interface. Yeah, it's a handheld and probably doesn't have the computing power as they do, but you've effectively got PS3 graphics on a handheld, so that's already a lot. Like, the Wii U does have a fast GUI now because of their previous update, where they've got a quick start menu. So you turn the gamepad on in about 3 seconds. You've got your recent played apps or games. You can just tap that and you're in a game in 10 seconds. Whereas still for my Xbox One, when I turn it on, it takes about a minute.
God, it takes ages.
Even to open up achievements.
Yeah.
To open up achievements, it takes a good 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And I think it's just initial crap, because
I'm hoping down the line there'll be software updates and patches and that'll all be fixed. But at the moment they just haven't allocated the right computing power for startup and accessing bits and pieces in the menu yet. I think they'll change that eventually, but I did mention I did an Xbox One review, and I actually I did game capture, and I let the Xbox start up while I was talking, and I got through nearly the entire, sort of initial part of my review before the Xbox actually started up and the menu loaded. It was just ridiculous.
So I reckon there'll be an update probably in about 8 months or so.
I think it'll come before the big, the holiday sales.
It has to.
Yeah, so I'm thinking October, November, we're going to get a nice big patch. Hopefully going to fix all those initial issues, because at that point it will have been out for a year. They'll know where to fix the problems, and hopefully, I don't mind if it's 3-4 gig patch, as long as it fixes the issues of startup and getting into the menu. I'm okay with that. Yeah. It's that little thing, but at this stage, I mean, it is, because these consoles are a full year behind the Wii U. So you would expect the Wii U to be ahead. It does light up really quickly. So I think eventually the PS4 and the Xbox One will catch up. Yeah. But at this point, they're still pretty early in their life cycle.
And with the Vita, it didn't get any love at E3.
There was nothing.
There was nothing announced for it. No games or anything like that. I reckon that's a waste. They've got a really nice, the analog sticks are nice. They've got the touchpad, which I haven't really used much, but it's nice to have it there because I have been able to use it once or twice. The buttons are really nice. The triggers are nice. The volume is very simple. You've got your game cartridge, your game slot. You've also got your SD slot right next to it.
Yep.
Down the bottom, you just got the charge and the headphone jack. It's a really good, solid console. This is the original PSP. Oh, sorry, PS Vita.
Yep.
The slim one, which is already out, is already lighter and apparently feels less clunky. So it's got a thicker grip on the back as well, so it feels like you're actually holding it. Yeah. But just the Vita itself, it's a good handheld. Just from having it for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I reckon there's got to be more for it. They did port Borderlands 2 to it, and that kind of ruined the game, because in Borderlands 2, you've got a lot of text in your menus.
Yes.
They don't actually enlarge in that text. The text is still as small as it was on the screen. So you're effectively squinting at the text, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not going to get the game for it. At the moment, it's still $69. But those sorts of things, it's kind of they don't really care about the Vita. I reckon Sony needs to start jumping on it instead of just making it, a $100, $150 more expensive controller for the PS4.
Yeah,
which it effectively is at the moment.
They're really pushing it for the second screen capabilities for games that are already on the PS4,
which is what the Wii U already does.
Yeah, but there's nothing coming out specifically for the PS Vita to make you want to buy it.
No.
So, they really need to start pushing it. How does it compare, say, to the 3DS?
The 3DS has a wider range of games at the moment.
It does.
3DS, it's Nintendo, so it's got its Kart and its other Mario games. And
Kart,
all that
Pokemon, Smash Bros coming out soon. So
yeah, exactly. So it's got all of those games. Yes. The Vita, the first game that I thought of when I thought Vita was Uncharted Golden Abyss.
Yep.
Which plays effectively like any other Uncharted. You can use touch. You can touch things now, so instead of climbing along the little bricks on the walls, you can actually touch each one in succession, and you'll jump to those. Which is it's nice. They add the touch screen because the display is a full touch screen, and it works really well. It's really sensitive and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But besides seeing Mercenaries in the store, I didn't know many games. I didn't even know Katamari had a game on it until I saw it on eBay for $12. So there's no games associated with the console.
Not really.
Whereas with the 3DS, you've got Pokemon, you've got Mario.
Yes.
Already you've sold it.
Yeah.
And the fact that the 3DS has had a really powerful 18 months.
Ooh, yeah.
The Vita has got nothing.
No.
And so you're looking at it, for example, in our store, the 3DS has 30, 40 odd games. The Vita has about 15.
Yeah.
And I think the most expensive one at the moment is, besides Borderlands 2, Assassin's Creed Liberation.
Yeah.
Which got a PC remake, well not remake, but a PC port anyway.
Yeah.
So, what's the point?
Yeah.
Where's the love?
I think it does go back to what I said about Sony at E3. They misstepped a little bit.
Yeah.
And not including the Vita in part of their press conference, or
even
from what I've heard around the conference, there was not even a stall that had the Vita there to just play, like a new game or something. So they really just ignored it completely, which I feel is another little misstep that Sony did at E3. So
at least Microsoft talked about the Kinect.
Yeah, they did.
Like, they hate it.
But they just sort of...
Well, they love it. Everyone hates it.
Yeah,
Everyone else hates it. But at least they spoke about it.
They did. They sort of glossed over a little bit, but I think that's because people were just sick of hearing about it. They were just like, okay, games. And that's what they gave us. Go Microsoft. But, yeah, I think Sony just... If they really want to push it, then push it and give us some games that we actually want to play on it. Because I would be happy to get one if there was games and stuff that I wanted to play.
Yeah.
At this stage, there really isn't. So
there's not.
No, so I don't see the point in getting one.
I got one because it was cheap and it was there, and I was like, well, you know what? I don't have one. I'll give it a go, and I like it.
That's because you're a hoarder.
Yeah, and that too.
Yes.
But it's got no games on it, and I think that's what's killing it.
Yeah.
And the fact that it uses a different card or something like that, but that's not even a big problem. It's not like the UMDs, which are absolutely retarded.
Would shoot out the back of the PSP just randomly.
Don't even go there. My PSP's already screwed. But the Vita's a really nice console. They just needs more support.
Does.
All right. What up next?
Well, just at the sort of the end of Comic Con, Evolve was there, which I got my hands on for the first time. Very, very cool. It's probably my most anticipated game for the year. And I got my hands on it. I played as the monster. I got my ass kicked, but...
Yeah, because he sucks.
Yeah, but it was the first time I played it. I wasn't expecting to be fantastic at it, but from what I actually got to play and what I saw, it has a lot of potential to be a very, very cool game. I think that it has a very e-sport element to it in the future, especially if you've got like a team of 5 guys, you know, one plays dedicated as a monster and the 4 other players as the different classes, then I think it could be a very, very cool competitive game down the line. And it could
Same
also
with
just...
Fable.
Yeah, and
Fable Legends.
Yeah, and it could be just fun with you and 4 mates. So I think there's a beta also that they announced coming out in the next few weeks before it launches in I think October. So look out for that. But yeah, from what I got my hands on, very, very cool. The other thing that was there was the Oculus Rift. It was there, but the line for it was massive, so I didn't bother. I would have loved to have had a crack, but
I didn't even know it was there.
No, the line was just huge to go up to try out the Oculus. I'm just like, nah. It would be worth it, but it was just ridiculous. And I was getting towards the end of the day, and I was knackered because I've been there since 6:30, and I wanted to go home. So it was there.
Yeah,
but
you lined up. I just walked in.
Yeah, I know. I got there at 6:30 for a 9 o'clock opening, so I was pretty keen. But yeah, apart from that, there was Nintendo was there, Evolve was there, Oculus Rift was there, and that was really about it. The gaming side of Comic Con.
Yeah,
but
it's comics.
Yeah, that was it. But I mean, Nintendo had a really good display. It was massive. They had a huge screen going on and people
Nintendo
playing.
Beanbags.
Yeah, Nintendo beanbags, and there was actually a charging station. There was like people sitting around in beanbags, and there was this big pillar that had about 20 DS or 3DS chargers coming out of it, and people were just sitting around playing their 3DSs, which was pretty cool. Yeah. Gives you the chance to just sort of relax and sit down, because finding a seat was very, very hard. So I'm glad Nintendo had their beanbags there, which was a nice little touch.
Yeah. I had something. I did.
And now it's gone?
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Go on.
I'm sure you'll come up with it.
I definitely will. Yeah, go
on. So another convention that happened the last week was RTX. And so that's Rooster Teeth's conference over in Austin, Texas. And anyone that knows Rooster Teeth knows they have a fairly strong connection with Halo and 343 Industries. And 343 actually had their own conference there, which they talked a little bit more about the Master Chief Collections, what's coming up for that. And there was also a new trailer, the Terminal trailer that got released, which focuses a lot on the Arbiter. And they were saying at RTX that in Halo Master Chief Collections, there will be terminals all around the campaign.
All 4 of them?
I think all 4 of them, or maybe just... I can't quite remember. They weren't really clear where the terminals would be, whether they would be all through the campaigns.
They could possibly be the same terminals, but different...
different things, different things to find. So, but apparently the terminals in this are going to give you a lot more of the Arbiter's backstory leading into Halo 5 Guardians. So
between Halo 3 and Halo 5.
Yes, essentially. So it's going to give you a lot of his backstory even before he became the Arbiter, when he was still the High Commander or whatever it was in the Covenant Army. So you're going to get a lot of his backstory, and the way that it's sort of read, and because there was that little sneak peek of him in the initial Halo 5 launch trailer, I'm going to put it out there. I reckon he's going to be a playable character in Guardians, and you are going to be actually hunting down the Chief.
Probably.
That is my prediction for, just because they're pushing him so hard this early, and like putting a bunch of him into this new Halo, into the Master Chief Collection.
It'll be similar to number 3 and number 2.
Yeah, I think you're going to get a lot of his backstory. I think he's going to be a playable character. You're going to be basically playing as the Arbiter hunting the Chief, and the Chief trying to evade the Arbiter, which is a pretty cool dynamic if they do go that direction. But from what they've been releasing in the last couple of weeks, then yeah, I think the Arbiter is going to be playing a very big role in Guardians.
All right.
Yep. And do go and check out, if you are a big fan of Halo, do go and check out the RTX panel. It has all the development guys from 343 who worked on Halo 2, Halo 3, and then moved across to 343 and are now working on Master Chief Collections. It's on Halo's YouTube channel. I might leave a link in the description, sorry. But yeah, if you're a big fan of Halo, do go check it out. It's a very cool panel.
Now, one thing I do want to press on, and it's about a new game that's coming out. It's called Destiny.
Oh yes, that game.
We all know about, yeah.
It's a little indie game that, just, it's under the surface.
Indie?
No, it's not.
Please.
Yeah.
Okay, so with Destiny, there's been a little bit of uproar recently about the beta. Have you heard about this?
No. I heard the alpha went off pretty much without a hitch. It was pretty good.
Yeah. So the beta, you can actually get early access to the beta if you pre-order at certain places, such as EB Games.
Yes.
And that's it.
Just EB.
Just EB.
That makes sense.
Possibly JB Hi-Fi, rumor has it, but definitely EB. Now, a place like Game Traders can't do that.
No.
But you're able to play the beta for Destiny for a good, I think it's 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, it's a big stint.
Yep.
They really want you to delve into it.
But that's on the PS4. The Xbox One, 4 days.
Shit. We picked the wrong console.
You get 4 days.
Yep.
The PlayStation 4, Destiny was the first one that came out when they announced, when they did E3.
Yeah.
Destiny was the first game. They've been pushing Destiny hard. I'm not sure whether...
They've got the special edition console for Destiny as well.
Yeah.
The white PS4.
The white PS4.
Yep.
But I don't know if they've got anything against Microsoft, but it seems like the guys from Destiny kind of... I don't know.
Well, okay, it's Bungie who were with Microsoft Studios, and then they sort of split, whether that was amicably or not.
Remains to be seen.
Remains to be seen, but yeah, I guess
not, because they're starting to giving Sony the treatment.
Either that or Sony's just sort of giving them a
out.
shitload of money and go make us the priority.
Yeah,
which could have happened.
It could be either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, 4 days of the beta for Xbox users, and 1 to 2 weeks for
PS4,
PlayStation users. I'm not entirely certain that that's the best idea, because with beta you're testing the game. You need to make sure that it works on the consoles. 4 days is not long.
No.
4 days is not long.
If that 4 days happens to be 4 days where you know any console, you can be pissed off.
You would not only be pissed off, but the fact is they're not going to get enough statistics to actually really diagnose what problems there are with the game on the console.
Yeah.
2 weeks is plenty of time. That's great. But 4 days, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. And leading on to, money being thrown at things, do you want to touch on with GameStop?
Yes, okay, so GameStop is now going to be working closer with developers early on in a new game's lifecycle. The idea with that is they want to give you better pre-orders or better perks with your pre-orders for new games.
Such as game content.
Yep. Now, I see a massive issue with this just off the bat. Either developers or console companies like Sony and Microsoft, they now have an influence to just throw money at GameStop and get specific perks for pre-orders and that, specific to their consoles, like Destiny being on the PS4 a lot more than the Xbox One. So I see a real issue for a problem with corruption for game developers, for console manufacturers to just get their way even more with GameStop. And GameStop do own EB Games, so it will trickle down to Australia eventually.
But this deal is only in the works.
It's in the works, but I see it going one of two ways, and the way it's going to go, I think, is the bad way. Yeah,
well, and they've already done that sort of stuff before. So with Assassin's Creed 2, for example, when that came out, there was 2 special editions that came out with the figurine. One was the white edition, one was the black edition. The white edition was available in most retailers. The black edition was only available at EB Games or GameStop in America.
Yep.
Now, that, I don't mind. It's a different coloured statue, whatever. One's normal Ezio, the other one was Master Assassin Ezio.
Yep.
You know what? That's fine. Whatever. I can deal with that. That's not in part of the game. But what they're actually talking about is GameStop is saying, okay, well, you do this and you'll get a couple of levels from the story. So instead of like day one DLC and that sort of thing, which I'm not even going to touch on that, you'll actually have a part of the game. So, for example, you've got 4 chapters of a game with 4 different sections. You might not get 4.3 in that game unless you get the GameStop version. Whereas if you get it from Big W or something, you might get 4.2 in there. So, but you don't get 4.3 or whatever, like chapter-wise. If you get my metaphor, great. If not, whatever. But yeah, so certain levels of the game will only be available at certain places. So if you want to play a certain level, you're going to get that version of the game from a certain retailer, but that means that you won't get certain levels as well because they'll be available to other retailers. That's bullshit.
It is.
Like, I can see where they're coming from, and they want to make the games personalized and all that sort of stuff and have the perks and make you want to come to that retailer, but that's just bullshit.
It is.
Same with Day 1 DLC, which, no.
If you want to hear Sean's rant, go and check out, I think it was our last radio show before we went off air for the semester. Massive rant.
No.
Actually, we both ranted out about it a bit. We both have the sort of same opinion about Day 1 DLC. But yeah, I just see there's just this real potential for there to be a lot of favoritism depending on who has the most money, and just throwing stuff, you know, making it very unfair for people who can't. Because traditionally, here in Australia especially, EB games, the games come out and they're $99. You go to a Target, you go to a Kmart, you go to a Big W.
It's like 68.
They're about $68-$70. So
they buy in bulk.
They do. They buy in bulk. So
but also it's a low profit margin for them.
Yeah.
They don't need to worry about it too much because they've got all the other stuff to worry about.
Yeah. Whereas,
so that's why they can drop the price.
Yeah. Whereas EB games, they sell games, so they need to sell at the RRP, recommended retail price, or they're not going to make their money back. So, and I'm a full supporter of going to an EB Games, to a Game Traders to buy my games because that's what they sell, and that's where I want my money to go, to places like this that are going to sell me games. So I have no issue with that, especially seeing as here in Australia, especially you can only get sort of your pre-order stuff through EB Games and Game Traders and places like that. You can't really get it through your Targets and your Big W's. They just sell the games.
They don't do pre-orders.
No, and you don't get all the cool stuff with it. So I think, yeah, look, I really hope it doesn't go down that road where people are being influenced or companies are being influenced to sort of give special consideration to GameStop and just give, you know, them all the content and just release basically a watered down version for all other retail stores. I don't want that to happen, but...
And you know what's going to happen if that does happen?
Outrage.
Smaller retailers are going to go.
Yeah.
Places like Game Traders are going to... They're going to die.
Your smaller independents.
Because you'll have EB Games, JB Hi-Fi,
yep,
and then Target, Kmart, Big W, those sort of places. That's all you'll have for games. And if you want a certain type version of the game, you'll have to go to JB Hi-Fi. You want a different level, you'll have to give up 3 of them in the game, but you can get that one level in that version of the game from GameStop.
Yeah.
Or EB Games.
Yeah.
And it's bad.
It does have the potential to be very, 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 very tricky about how games are now getting developed.
I don't see a positive end for this for the consumer.
Look, I see like a little bit of a positive, whereas if it's done right and it's done ethically, then we could be getting really, really cool, you know, day one DLC that's actually worth paying for. If GameStop,
you're not paying for extra stuff though.
I know, but
you're paying for not getting certain things because another retailer has bought the right to those levels.
Yeah.
That's what you're paying for. It's not extra DLC, extra levels. It's not that.
Yeah.
It's the other way around. So instead of adding, like, you know, buying it from a place and getting extra stuff, which we're already doing, it's buying it from there so that way you get the stuff instead of losing it.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like it's purely negative.
Okay. That's fair enough. Look, the article that I read, the way I read it was that they basically want to give us day one DLC that is worth the extra, you know, $50 that you pay for.
I don't get that. Just put it on the disc.
Yeah. Look, but a lot of it is too, like a lot of the stuff they did say, it wasn't just stuff on the game, it was stuff surrounding the game, like your peripherals, like your cool statues and your maps and all that sort of crap that comes with a lot of your special edition games. That side of things, if they can give us even cooler stuff, that's fine. But if you start messing with the simple dynamics of the game and start taking bits out, then you're in trouble, and you're fucking with the consumer.
With
We don't like that, and there's a lot of us, and we tend to get very angry on the internet when you start doing stuff like this.
Look what happened to Left 4 Dead 2 when it hit Australia.
Fucking right. Give us explosions, give us blood and fire and stuff. Don't just make them disappear. That was dumb.
Yeah,
didn't like that.
Yeah, that was stupid. Come on, we're not. The one line I like from censorship, which I've said a million times.
What's that?
Okay, so censorship is a man can't eat a steak just because a baby can't chew it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know what? I can't eat a steak.
Me too.
So fucking let us eat the steak.
Yeah. It really comes down to like, one, our government is a big issue, which
No.
sort of needs to be fixed. But
No.
what?
No politics.
Okay, I'm avoiding politics here.
Good.
But yeah, I think we're just as grown up as every other fucking country that gets to have all this other content that gets.
We have to survive. We have to survive this nation's fires and shit. I think we're pretty mature.
We're a nation built on convicts. We know what violence is. Give it to us in video game form.
We also know what other things are, like rape. Yeah. And stealing a loaf of bread.
Yeah. So look, that's a whole other issue that we could go down, but we don't have the time. But yeah, look, I will reserve judgment because it is just rumour at this stage, whether it's going to happen or not, whether GameStop goes ahead with this, whether there are gaming developers that are actually willing to partner with GameStop to do this, or what they want to do. So I'm not going to get too stressed about it now. If it does go ahead, then we can start to worry and just see whether... Yeah. It also depends what developers that they are starting to partner up with. Well, it was like Activision or something, then I just know it's going to be bad.
Yeah, we're screwed. Fuck. Call of Duty, lol.
God damn it. It's going to be so pay to win.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But anyway, we'll probably touch more on that subject in the next week or two, depending on if anything develops.
Yep.
Right now, how long have we been on for?
We've been on for a bit, so...
Half an hour or something.
Half an hour, yep.
Yeah, sweet. I reckon we're done for today.
Yep.
I'm tired. I need to go home and pack because I'm going camping. Thanks. And yeah, I think we're all good.
Yep.
And we'll probably see you next week or the week after, whenever.
Yeah, I'm around next week, so we'll be doing this next week, live from my bedroom once again. Shut up.
We're fitting the stereotypes so well.
I know, I love it. It's great.
Alright, so I'm Sean.
I'm Ricky.
You're listening to SwinGamers on radio. And
not on the radio, though.
We're not on the radio. No, we're video.
SwinGamers Podcast.
SwinGamers Podcast on the YouTube.
Yeah, so do all that social network and stuff. Like, favorite, subscribe, go to our Facebook page. We've got all of our info there coming up with events we've got going on for the
just
next few weeks. SwinGamers, do all that.
Yeah, Welcome Back Week and O Week and Club Stay and all that sort of stuff is coming up. Open Day even for the uni.
We will be heavily involved. Come down and say hi.
Oh, one thing before we go. Omegathon.
Yes, Omegathon. There will be a games list coming up soon. We are just trying to refine it down to its perfection, I guess.
He hasn't finished it.
No, I haven't finished the game list. But I am working on it. We just need to get it down. But we have announced the prize. It is a current gen console of your choosing, an Xbox One, a PS4, or a Wii U, whichever one you want.
Whichever one you pick, depending on how many people sign up as well. We might throw in a couple of games.
We might. Even though I think most consoles these days do have a console game.
No, it doesn't matter. We'll throw in a couple of games.
Okay, we'll do that.
We'll do something.
Yeah,
depending on how many people sign up.
Yeah, tell your friends. Anyone is welcome to come down.
$20 per person?
$20 for SwinGamers members. $25 for non-members and just members of the general public that want to come play. But yeah,
if we get a fair amount of people signed up and all that, and we got the prizes and all that's good, we'll probably do food as well.
Yep.
I reckon we'll probably do like free pizza or something.
Yeah, I reckon we'll get...
Everyone loves pizza, right?
Yeah, we'll supply your tea, and if we get even more people, we might even be giving prizes away for second, third, and a couple of participation
Second
awards. Second last, yes, that's a good one.
Second last, because you can't come last, because it's easy to come last.
It is.
Second last, that takes real lack of skill.
That's a little pub trivia trick. Always give them to the second last, because you don't want people just copping out. No. But yeah, so look... you
want someone who's semi-copping out.
Yeah. But no, we're really looking forward to the event. I reckon it's going to be amazing if we get the numbers. So yeah, look, tell everyone you know, anyone who loves gaming, get along. It's going to be an awesome day. Plenty of games, plenty of fun. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and you could win yourself a brand new console. What's not to love?
I can't think of anything.
Exactly, that's it. So
no, it's going to be good.
I think we're done. So I'm Ricky.
I'm Sean.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Yep. See you later. You're listening to SwinGamers.
Yes.